Welcome to Gunners Are Us, where we are positively Arsenal.
And that we are.
Do you see the cadence changed again this week? It was positively.
Positively.
Whereas last week it was positively.
Oh, because of the Villa
It
game.
wasn't a great week.
But this week,
Positively.
positively. Arsenal. I can't do it. I got baby lung, so I can't really get up there. Positively. Like I've mentioned many a time, Tyson Fury comes to mind. But no, we are back. You would have got a little reaction to the Champions League draw from myself on Monday. And we will talk quickly about that, see what Joe's thoughts on it are. But today we're going to be doing back to prediction leagues for this weekend coming up, ending on Christmas Eve. Simon is going to end this episode with his predictions. There's going to be a mini podcast on top of this podcast, not a separate podcast.
I like the little mini podcast out.
Yeah, so that's at the minute kind of what's happened is we're kind of doing our main podcast, and then there's like a couple 10-minute to 15-minute pods throughout the week, just if something comes up, something big happens. And again, a couple big things just broke before we recorded. We're recording this on a Thursday night as opposed to a Wednesday morning.
It's a very rare late night game. We're playing under the lights.
We're playing under the lights. Let's see if we can do it on a rainy night in Stoke. But yeah, so if you want to hear Simon's predictions, obviously hang on till the end of the episode, even not plural, and you'll hear that. But you'll hear mine and Joe's in this. But first, we have had a good week.
We've had a very positively week.
It has ended with us being top of the league, which is something that I don't think, especially this week, I don't think we saw coming with the fact that we're against a bogey team. We haven't beaten Brighton at home in 3 years.
What would normally be a really tough game.
Yeah, like really not a good team for us. And then City were home to Palace, which, by the way, Palace are their version of Brighton at home. Yeah. They've always had iffy results with Palace, but being 2-0 up, things like that, you just don't expect them to drop points. But for them to drop points and then Liverpool not to smash Man United as everyone predicted, has left little old Arsenal on top of the pack with little old Villa underneath by a point. And again, here's a really interesting one because we will get to all of this, but we're away to Liverpool. And we've got Villa on a Friday night at home, which they've been very good at.
Yeah.
Home to Sheffield United.
Oh my goodness.
So if Villa and Arsenal draw, if Liverpool and Arsenal draw and Villa win, which is very likely, a very normal thing to happen, Villa would be top by a point going into Christmas.
Oh my goodness.
So that is official title contenders when you're top at Christmas.
That's wild.
Yeah, because we're going to be essentially nearly halfway through the season and they've managed to maintain that. So that is...
The villains have turned heroes.
Well, this is the thing is, when do we start thinking, when you think of growing up, there's teams like Villa, Bolton over the years.
Yeah.
They've kind of been top, never at Christmas.
No.
But going in towards Christmas and then they kind of drop off. But I mean, at what point do we realize, are they just like a team that are really annoying for all the big teams to keep losing to?
Leicester all over again.
Yeah, because I remember the year Leicester won it. There was a couple games where I think they played Man City, they played Tottenham, and they were beating these teams. And I was thinking, that's fine, I'll take that because they're going to drop off eventually. So the more points they could take off everyone around us.
Yeah.
Because we beat Leicester 2 times that year.
Yeah.
With Villa, we're not having that
No.
same grace. But I don't know. At what point do we start thinking, well, we need them to drop points? Because if City don't get back into this, it's going to be between us, Liverpool, and Villa. And Villa look more informed than both Arsenal and Liverpool.
There's definitely a lot of work for City to do as well. Like they're dropping.
So I saw a thing. I think they are going to be, because they're not playing, they could be outside the top 4 if Spurs and Villa both win.
Wow.
They could be outside the top 4 for Christmas for the first time since 2021.
Oh.
Which is only a couple of years. But if you remember, they were behind by 8 points that year at Christmas and outside top 4. They went on to win the league by 12 points.
Yeah.
So if anyone thought this is writing City off, absolutely not. They've been worse off at Christmas literally 2 years ago.
You definitely can't write more. But the hangover from making history is definitely real.
That's what they've not experienced before. And on top of that, the year in which they did that, they were against Liverpool. And Liverpool had a year very similar to us last year where they were unreal up until the last 2 months. And then they just lost out, basically, and City won out. This year, I don't think they'll get that because if it's Arsenal not winning out, it might be Liverpool. If it's not Liverpool winning out, it might be Villa.
Yeah.
If it's not anyone, it could be Spurs. Horrible as that is to say, but they could have a run when they have everyone back post Asia Cup and all these injuries. If Villa can stay in amongst 6, 7, 8 points from the top, they could have a run.
Well, they seem solid enough to be able to stick at it. They're not like a fluke, I don't think.
I don't know. I don't think so. But I don't know. Villa is. There's something about it that they're better than that Leicester side. I'd say that.
Well, to be doing what they're doing at this point of the season, going into Christmas, still where they are, you can't fluke that.
That's what I mean. And also, like, they won away at Brentford with mass fights at the end. Ollie Watkins inside at his old club.
Yeah.
Went into the goal and did the FIFA celebration where you run into the net.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
And outside a brawl with Martinez.
Yeah.
Martinez and Mope had the most who is the person everyone hates more fight.
Well, definitely for Arsenal fans as well. Like, we're not a big fan of either.
And the weird thing is, Martinez should be thanking Mope because he gave him a career. Because if it wasn't for Mope injuring Leno, Martinez wouldn't have played for Arsenal that year, won the FA Cup, became a huge keeper, sold him to Villa, and then gone on to win the World Cup.
Yeah.
And been their first choice and now be, what was he, the best goalkeeper in the world, according to...
Apparently.
Hey, he should be thanking Mope because he's the one that started all this.
Yeah.
The chain of reactions from Mope doing that is... Well, someone, you get that meme of the tiny little domino going to the huge one.
Yeah.
And it was Mope injuring Leno, and the big domino was Messi lifting the World Cup.
Yeah, big.
And if Mope hadn't have done this, there's a chance that Messi wouldn't have done this.
Is that the biggest assist in football history?
Yeah, and you wouldn't have thought it from Neil Mope, but it was stupid. The end of that match, there's a red card in it. It was very interesting. It was Ben Mee. I think it was on Leon Bailey.
Yeah.
It was really high. It was studs on the shin.
Yeah.
And this was what I liked about it was a clear red. It was a bad tackle. But Leon Bailey didn't react to it. He just got shinned and then tried to get the ball and carried on, never went down. And they reviewed it. And I like that because people always say there's a lot of diving, but then you realise if you don't do it,
you have to.
They won't give it.
I was explaining that to Dad the other night. It's not diving. Well, Dad said it. It's not diving. It's what's the word?
You're letting them know. You're making them aware that something's happened.
There's a difference between a dive,
alerting them.
A clear dive is when you're not touched.
Well, if you're just cheating, you're just trying to say I haven't been touched, but I'm going to try and assume I've been touched. But if there's minimal touch, if you don't go down, but it's impeded you to keep going, you have to make a big song and dance of it. Otherwise, they won't realise that.
People have been criticising Saka lately for rolling around a lot.
But he doesn't get any protection, he's forcing the protection.
He gets kicked a lot per game.
Yeah, it's tough. But as far as Villa go, I think we have to start thinking them as Leicester. They could very well win this league. When you think about the running and the fact that all I keep going back to is last year Arsenal had about 14 to 15 players that were first choice. I'd say about 13 that were first choice quality.
Yeah.
And then you had about 3 or 4 off the bench you were quite happy with. And then you had a lot of stuff that you weren't happy with.
Yeah.
That wasn't deep enough to win a league.
No.
Up against Man City again. We might not know if anyone's up against Man City this year, but that wasn't enough.
Yeah.
When you look at Villa, they've got about 13 players that were good enough for the first team, and then the rest is not, I don't think, up to scratch.
It's very bare minimum when you look at the first 11. Basically.
And I even mentioned this about Tottenham. I think they haven't even got 11. Everyone fully fit. I don't think there's an 11 that you'd be like, that's a title winning 11.
No.
I think Villa have a deeper squad in the sense they have 12 or 13 that you could see not necessarily winning a league, but doing very well.
They've got enough quality in there.
If we weren't good enough at 15, I just don't see squads of that size doing well. And then when you look at Liverpool, and we'll talk about it when we preview the Arsenal game with Liverpool, but we're going to have Endo over at Liverpool and Szoboszlai, and no McAllister, and maybe an inverting Trent, against Rice, Odegaard, and Havertz. And Odegaard and Havertz have the most duels won in the league this year.
Wow.
So when you look at the domination of midfield, that shouldn't be it shouldn't be that hard situation. It should be that competitive. And again, when you look at Liverpool, I don't think Endo's good enough to be in the 11 that wins the league.
No.
He's one of these squad players.
Yeah.
But Liverpool's first probably midfield is McAllister, Szoboszlai, and Thiago.
Yep.
But
Thiago hasn't featured much.
He's been injured completely. Yeah. He's still not back. And again, Robertson's out. There's a few injuries that could mean that we could do all right.
Yeah.
But when you look at the fact that they've had 3 or 4 injuries, so have we. You can actively, even though Liverpool are still essentially top of the league, they're third, but they still look short. Whereas we've had, like I said, I think Aaron Neville said, I think Arsenal win the league because they're not dealing with the injuries.
Yeah.
And we talked about before, we've shown the stats that we've had as many injuries as everyone except Newcastle. But that's what's good about it. I think that's what's showing us is City also do this sometimes where they have a lot of injuries, but no one realizes. like De Bruyne has been out all year, but no one's really mentioned it.
Yeah.
That their best player is essentially missing.
Yeah.
And Rodri's missed way more games than he's ever missed before. That's why they're losing. And again, when we got into the run in last year and we were missing 2 or 3 players, everyone was like, "Oh, you haven't got a deep enough squad."
Yeah.
Whereas now we're losing those players, getting through games, and no one's questioning the fact we've had an injury because they think, "Oh, they assume they haven't had an injury." So this is good. This is a good sign for us that our squad is building to a point where people aren't noticing the injuries.
Our depth is unreal. Like, I don't know if it's imposter syndrome because we're Arsenal fans, but I don't really give it that much thought. But when you explain it the way you just did, it's the depth is crazy.
I really
compared to everyone, because I know Villa and Liverpool are doing well, but yeah, like you say, there's no underneath. Like,
I think of the City, like Edison's drop off to their subkeeper. I think it's Ortega.
Yeah.
Raya Ramsdale is as good as any in the league.
Yeah.
And then when you look at even just, I don't know, it's tough with City because they've got Haaland. The drop off from that to whoever they've got next. Alvarez, technically, you saw this week against Palace, it is such a drop off in that position.
Yeah.
I think Alvarez is great in the De Bruyne role, but I mean, to be just left with that number 9, the drop off's huge. Whereas Jesus to Eddie is a lot better than that. Neither of them are as good as Haaland, but same with when you look at right back, for example, over there, is they got players like Akanji and Ake, and we've got Tomiyasu and Ben White, and all of a sudden you're going, do you know what? I don't know which two are better. And that's what we've not had in many years.
No.
That's what I'm kind of thinking with Villa and Liverpool's is I don't think they've got enough to go the distance because we didn't last year.
Yeah.
I think this year we have a much better chance.
Yeah.
Because when you look at us versus City as the top 2, we've lost Xhaka and gained Havertz and Rice.
Yeah.
From our first team.
And Havertz has definitely proven himself now.
Yeah, and Rice, I think, might be the signing of my lifetime for
Rice
Arsenal.
is unreal.
He's just so good. No one's even spoken about the price tag. But when you look at Xhaka to Rice and Havertz as like an upgrade to the first team, obviously other signings happened. But when you look at just that, whereas look at City and they lost Gundogan, they lost Laporte, and they lost Mahrez. They've essentially replaced Laporte with Guardiola, who hasn't been very impressive, and even teams like Palace now have targeted him to get their goals. Mahrez they just didn't replace, and Gundogan is irreplaceable, but he did it with Kovacic, who is not even the same level of player. So when you look at it that way, it's quite interesting that the City that we were up against last year, they've lost even Cole Palmer's depth. Yeah, they've lost all of that, and not really. That's why they went looking at Rice. Because I think about it sometimes. Can you imagine them with Rice?
Oh man,
this would be just chaos.
Stupid.
It'd be horrible. So yeah, when you look at it that way, we've gained 2 on maybe 1 world-class player. Yeah, they've lost 3 or 3 world-class players. Cole Palmer's turning into 1. Yeah, but 3, and they've replaced it with maybe 1 or 2 that are a much lower level. Yeah. So when you look at the fact they're struggling after a treble, I think all of this is combining. And maybe they aren't as good as they're supposed to be at this point.
Well, it's that bad mix, isn't it? It's the hangover from making history, losing players and not replacing them. Yeah, it's the reason they're in the position they're in. It's just the way it is.
And if you remember when they won the treble and they asked Pep about it, and he was just saying, "I can't even think about next year." But he was so exhausted that that's going to run through the team as well, because he was actively saying it to everyone. I don't know if I can go again. Yeah. And now he's trying, and I just don't know what's going to come of that, because I do think this is Pep's last year. So,
do we know what the extent of Haaland's injury is yet?
It's a foot stress fracture or something. It's a stress-related fracture, but not a fracture. That was what they're kind of trying to say. Yeah. We don't know what it is. He did apparently train last Thursday, or was at training. Yeah. But other than that, we don't know much information. I don't think he's going to be a part of the Saudi. They're in Saudi at the minute for the Club World Cup. Don't think he's a part of it. But De Bruyne is out there with them, which is interesting. Okay. So post-Christmas, we could be looking at a Haaland and De Bruyne partnership back. And do we put it past them winning every single game to the end of the season? No. Because they can't beat everyone.
Yeah, 100%.
And we are shaky. I genuinely think it could come down to 3 or 4 teams still in it in April. Yeah. Which, as a neutral, I think would be brilliant. As an Arsenal fan, I think it would be the 1 year City are going to ease off the gas a tiny bit. Yeah. And we're going to be the best we've ever been in years. And if we don't win it, it's going to be really alarming. Yeah, because last year we were just up against the treble winning side, and we never had a chance. Even though we were ahead, we still knew. Like Liverpool, every year they've had to deal with it. Yeah. They were always going to come back and get us. Whereas this year we don't know. So this is going to be very interesting. Something else I want to talk about was the reason we're top was Liverpool versus Man United. You didn't see this game, did you?
No, I didn't. I didn't manage to see it at all.
I can tell you, you missed nothing.
Okay.
It was so bad. I say so bad. So bad for what it should have been.
Yeah.
So I think most people were going into it thinking you're going to watch a hammering from Liverpool.
Yeah.
That was based on just that one freak game last year. If you remember that XG in that game last year was like 3-1. They won 7-0.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was just one of those days, similar to when Man United beat us 8-2. Every shot was top corner. Just one of those days where everything just goes in. It wasn't like they just dominated and made 50 chances and scored 8. It was they made 8 chances and scored 8 goals.
Okay.
Or they made less than that. That's what they did. Or 7 goals. This, I think, Liverpool was so sloppy.
Oh, really?
To a point where, as the game went on, they became so open that the only team that were going to win that game was Man United. And Man United played I think Mourinho played like that for Man United at Anfield once and got a 0-0, and everyone slaughtered him for it. But I think Man United, maybe in people's estimations, have dropped since then. So people didn't expect much from them. So it's a heck of a point. And anyone that's saying it's not a good point for Man United, I think it is.
That's a really good point. Yeah.
You have to adapt. We've watched Arsenal be so bad for so many years. And if we could have got a 0-0 at Anfield, because Man United are in a point where we were 3-4 years ago, where we would get smashed 5-6-0 at Etihad or at Anfield every single year.
Yeah.
I would have chewed your hand off for a 0-0 at any of those points, even if we played awfully.
Yeah.
And Man United didn't play awfully, they just defended.
Okay.
But Liverpool, they were just very. I think Carragher said it. If a half decent side was at Anfield for that game, Liverpool would have got smashed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they were so open, so sloppy. They couldn't string a pass together. Bad decision making, just generally poor. But again, there was no atmosphere either. It was the largest crowd at Anfield ever because of the new stand. The atmosphere just died after about a minute.
Really?
And if we get that next week on Saturday, I'll be very happy. But they're going to come in post that match, because I think if they pummeled Liverpool, Man United, I think they could have come in with a slight, like what Man City are overall,
like a swagger,
but almost like we just did all this huge atmosphere, won the big game. Now we're a bit
on the down.
But instead, I feel like they've made such a point that they made such a small amount of atmosphere. They're going to come in with they're like, it's Christmas week, we're off work, we're drunk, we're angry, we're annoyed that they thought we had no atmosphere. Here's the biggest atmosphere of the year.
This Liverpool team currently confuses me as well. I don't know what to expect from them, because when I watch them, they don't really show much. Like, even Salah's been quiet a lot of the time.
Yeah, they've kind of bumbled their way through to top of the league. I know they're third now, but I've not been impressed. I genuinely, until I saw they were top, I was thinking they're not really a threat to the league in any way. But now I've seen them top, and now I'm starting to think maybe they are. But again, we talk about the eye test. The eye test tells me that they're not great.
Yeah.
Like, this is a team that dropped 3 goals to Fulham at home.
Yeah.
They've dropped goals to everyone at home this year. They've not been good defensively, not been good offensively. People are saying they're really in their prime going forward. I really don't see it. I'm not saying they're not going to beat us 7-0 at the weekend, but I just think it's been weird.
Yeah, there's not something there I can put my finger on.
No.
Like, normally you can, like, even with the front three of Mane, Firmino and Salah. Like, at that time, that was nerve-wracking.
It was terrifying, yeah.
Whereas this lot, they're good, but it's not the same.
No,
like, they're not doing the same things.
No, because you look at Darwin, he's not performing to the level that they expected.
No,
they were kind of hyping him to the Haaland type.
Yeah,
and it's just not working that way. So I don't know. They haven't impressed me. They don't impress me much.
No,
but that doesn't mean I don't think we're going to get a C&2 at the weekend.
I'm still nervous.
But I'd say the Brighton game this past weekend for me was potentially our best offensive performance of the year, even defensive.
That was dominant.
Brighton have not scored a goal in a Premier League game since January.
Wow,
that was the first time.
Yeah.
We conceded 1 shot on goal.
Jeez.
And we've done that 3 times this year. Brighton, Man City, and I think it was
a European game.
Was it?
Yeah, there was
another
game.
one. But they're all huge games. And we literally kept people to 1 shot on our goal. That is not just defending, that's high level. Because, getting clean sheets is one thing, but I mean, not conceding shots on goal is a crazy new level that we don't know about.
Again, this plays back into the imposter syndrome. Like I'm not fully aware of how good we are because I'm an Arsenal fan. Obviously,
Yeah, I assume it's all
you
going
have
to
that.
come crumbling, sure.
Yeah, you feel like there's something I'm missing, but on paper, amazing.
Yeah, I don't know. Defensively sound like against Brighton, who again score every single game.
Yeah,
To concede one shot on target,
yeah,
and then one chance, and because the shot on target was a pot shot.
yeah.
But they had one good chance where Matoma got in behind Ben White for the one time, and he pulled it back to I think it was Gross, and he just missed the near post.
Yeah.
And right after that, we scored our second that ended the game.
Yeah.
So it could have easily been a 1-1. We've just gone away going, how have we been that dominant?
Yeah.
And been that poor? And again, when you look at the stats, domination wise, they ended the game with 51% possession.
Okay.
Brighton.
Yeah.
But there was points in the game up until about 60 minutes where we were up by about 70%.
Yeah.
And if you look at their possession, it was only in their first third, their goalie, essentially. And we were pressing at that point. So again, we talk about eye test. It was so dominant. The amount of shots we had on goal, it was close to 30, I think.
Yeah.
The XG was about 3.5. It was just one of those days where you just think, if we hadn't won, I would have been genuinely disappointed.
Yeah.
And just thought it's just not our day. But I felt that way against Villa.
Yeah, exactly.
Villa was the other team, by the way. Villa had one shot on goal in that game.
Okay.
And they scored.
Oh, wow.
It was Villa and Newcastle away where we lost 1-0.
Yeah.
They had one shot on goal, which was the goal.
Oh, wow.
And it was a bit of a sus goal. But
yeah, very.
So we've done well to restrict teams to one shot on goal when you're considering that the league average is around 9 shots on goal.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's really crazy. But again, that all means nothing if you just keep losing 1-0.
Yeah.
to that one shot on goal, because then you've got an even worse problem than allowing lots.
And Arteta's a perfectionist, so I expect next season no shots on our goal whatsoever.
Yeah, well, someone said that. I saw a thing, and it was XG against versus XG for, and it was like a graph, and we are literally in the far right corner over there somewhere. So certain teams don't see much XG, but they don't score much, So, but we are just miles over here on our own, which is wild. That's just considering we don't look like we're doing great.
Again, the eye test doesn't always work.
Yeah, it's weird. It's really weird. And he seems to have kind of figured something out, because someone said, if you had said to you 3 years ago, even 2 years ago, that this week we would be top of the league going into Christmas, about to go away to Anfield.
Yeah.
And you're waiting on a Monday to find out who we've got in the round of 16 in the Champions League. If you'd said that to me 2 years ago, I'd have been like, no chance in hell is that going to happen.
It's been a long time coming.
So Arteta deserves some kind of praise, because I genuinely didn't think any of that would happen. But going back to that Brighton game, it was pure domination. Havertz scored a hell of a winner. I say a winner, but a game sealer. When he went for a goal, I must admit, I wouldn't have wanted anyone else in our team, because he just seems, when the chips are down, I feel like he's going to do something. And like Champions League final for him, for Chelsea, I just felt confident he scored.
Well, now he's got his confidence as well. Like, we could see the confidence was lacking before, because the amount of chances he had that he didn't put away.
And Odegaard seems to be back on form. He had a few games there where he was dealing with concussion, he was dealing with illness, he was dealing with like a thigh injury or something. It seems like he's fully back, which is great.
Yeah,
perfect timing. And we're hearing that Timber might be available for the Porto first leg.
Really?
Because when he tore his ACL, he didn't damage his PCL or MCL in any way.
Okay.
So it was just an ACL tear, which is very rare to only do damage to the ACL.
Yeah.
So he could be back sooner than the 9 months that you typically think of an ACL, which would be a huge bonus, because around the time he would come back, Partey would be back from the African Cup.
Yep.
And Tommy would be back from the Asia Cup.
That's massive.
For that Champions League in the last 15 games of the year.
Yeah.
12 to 15 games. To have that, again, if we have everyone else out, it wouldn't be that great. But if we can keep people relatively fit going into that period when they all come back, that would be perfect. And there is talk that obviously if Egypt make it to the quarters, we won't have to deal with Salah at the Emirates.
Fantastic.
So Mohamed El Nani, you have one job.
Yeah.
Get them through to the final.
Come on, El Nani.
And knock out Ghana.
Does he still play for Egypt?
First team? I think he's captain. I think Salah's captain, or he's captain. I don't know. Yeah, he does. Yeah, and he will, because he's fully fit now. That hamstring injury. He went off with that injury the other day because it was one of his first games back from ACL. Yeah. But it looks like it's nothing serious.
Good.
So good. I'm happy for El Nani.
Yeah.
But no, the Brighton game. Yeah, Jesus was fantastic. He had Lewis Dunk, fighting for his life that whole game. Martinelli, people are a bit down on Martinelli. I think he's a bit out of form. I don't think he is. I think that type of player that you're constantly taking on players, you're only going to be, because when you watch it, he just physically takes on that fullback every single time he has the ball, he's pulling the ball back and it's just not going in a minute.
He's the kind of player you have to appreciate watching a game for the full 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't necessarily always get goals and assists, but the stuff he does is unreal.
If he keeps doing what he's doing as well, eventually the stats will come because he'll just score. He'll get it's like 2 assists per game or a goal, and all of a sudden everyone's going to go, he's the best player in the world. But he just got to keep doing what he's doing, and eventually everything will kind of fall into place, I would have thought. But no, that Brighton game, I was just really impressed. It was the most impressed I've been with us all year, which is perfect timing after that Villa. And if you remember the Newcastle game, we struggled.
Yeah.
It was an iffy game.
They bullied us.
They bullied us, and I felt like we stood up to it, but it was an awkward one. Nothing really happened, but then they scored that strange goal. Then after that, everyone was like, it's how they respond to that. We went on to win 6 games in a row in the league.
Yeah.
Post that Newcastle game.
Yeah.
And then this Villa game had a very eerily similar vibe to Newcastle.
Yeah.
And if he got, not their goal was perfectly fine, but like a weird moment. It wasn't our best day by any means. And you think, how are they going to react to that?
Yeah.
And we started with one of our most dominant performances of the year. So it's a really good, thing to happen right before going to Anfield.
Yeah.
But I do think us being in good form and then Anfield kind of getting mocked for being a bad atmosphere is a scary little combination.
It's all going to come to a crux.
It is, yeah. And I don't know what's going to happen there. I would take a draw right this second.
Oh, 100%.
And again, I know that means Villa will be top, but I mean, I just don't want to get beaten 4 or 5 because we haven't for a while now at Anfield. We've seemed to have got past not winning there. We don't win there. But this year we've already broken the Brighton at home thing, the Man City at home thing. There's another one. There's an away game that we haven't won in forever. We won it this year. I can't remember what it was. But we've broken a couple stigmas. I'd love to break this one and beat them.
If there's ever a time to do it, it's now.
Yeah, definitely. Like, we are the best team in the league currently. By the end of the season, I don't know because there are teams that are close, but I don't know. I'm interested. My natural feeling as an Arsenal fan is that we'll probably lose, but I would take a draw. But a win would really, I think, really make people start looking around and thinking,
100%.
Oh wow, here they are. But again, that's easier said than done, I think. We'll see as time goes on.
Yeah.
But what we'll do now, if actually quickly, I want to get your thoughts on the Champions League draw. So we got Porto. The first leg is, I think, the 12th of February away from home. The second one is like the 10th of March or 14th of March. So there's a month between the two. The week before this, the second leg, they have to play Benfica, who are above them in the league currently.
Oh, wow.
So that's a big game for them. They can't rest players going into that second leg.
Definitely a comfortable draw, I think. Like,
I described it as middle of the pack. Like, not the worst, not the best.
I don't want to count the chickens or anything and be like, because they could knock us out. Touch wood.
Yeah.
But I was definitely very happy to see that be the team that was picked for us. What were the potential options?
So the worst case scenario would have been PSG.
Okay.
And then the best case was FC Copenhagen, who Man City obviously drew.
Yeah.
Because I'm hearing that if they get through that, they got Stevenage in the quarterfinals somehow. But, there was other teams in there that we could have got. Like,
it was like Napoli or anyone like that.
Yeah, Napoli, Lazio.
Wow. No, we definitely got away with one there.
Yeah, I think so. I think they're, like I said, if the levels are 1 through 8, and PSG were 1, I think they're about 4th, 5th. And again, I described it as I didn't want to go against Copenhagen and then go out.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I wouldn't have experienced a big Champions League night at the Emirates.
Yeah, Porto's big enough.
It's big enough, but still winnable.
Yeah.
That hopefully if we can get through that. If we get through, by the way, it would be our first quarterfinal since 2010.
Wow.
Even though we were in the Champions League up until 2016, we didn't get past around a 16 ever.
Really?
We always got behind Munich straight away. We never even finished. We didn't win in our leagues. And the year we did finish top, Bayern Munich came second, and we got them.
Oh my goodness.
So we kept getting Bayern Munich or Barcelona every single year in around a 16. So this is the first time in 13 years that we've got a winnable tie in around a 16.
Yeah.
If we go through, then obviously once you get to the quarters, I think you just got to accept all the big teams you can get, because to win it, you're going to have to beat the big teams.
That's part of it. Yeah.
And again, I don't necessarily want to get to a final where we face Man City, which isn't a very, I describe it as not a sexy final.
That's not a Champions League final.
No, I don't want it, but it's very hard to win.
Who would you want?
Ideally, I think Porto. Then if we could get a team that would excite me in the quarters.
Like, who's there?
I don't know, like a Barca, because I think at the minute we're more level with them than we've ever been before.
Yeah.
But, for me, a final against Madrid
and
a semi against Bayern that we get through,
Yeah.
And then the one before that is, I wouldn't even mind Sociedad. It sounds weird. If they beat Barca, I would like to face Sociedad. Just because I had something about a Spanish team coming to the Emirates in the quarters or something. I don't know.
It reminds me of the days we play like Villarreal.
Villarreal, yeah. So
we got a weird tie to Sociedad as well as Arsenal.
Yeah, with is it Arteta?
Arteta played there.
Odegaard,
Monreal.
Tierney's there now.
Vela?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I necessarily want. Atletico maybe in a quarters.
Yeah,
being interesting over to we lost to them in the quarters of the Europa League a couple of years ago.
Yeah,
3-4 years ago.
Yeah,
I don't know. I just want to see nice big Champions League nights with big players. I want to see Vinicius at the Emirates. I want to feel that.
I want to see Rice against Bellingham.
Yeah, I want to see. I'd rather play Madrid in a semi than get Porto, then Sociedad, and then Napoli, who have injuries in the quarters, and we go to the final against Man City.
Yeah.
I know people would say, well, yeah, but it'd be really good to have a final that you could win, but it just doesn't feel like Champions League.
No.
I want to experience the Champions League in the big nights, the flags are out, all that kind of stuff.
You want the full journey.
And I think Madrid are the kind of sexiest on paper. Them and PSG.
Yeah.
PSG in the quarters would be cool.
Yeah. And PSG aren't exactly PSG at the minute either.
No, I think they're all beatable. I think the hardest team to beat are City, then Munich, then Madrid.
Yeah, 100%.
Then probably Napoli.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd like to face Madrid.
Yeah, that'd be the one.
Just because I think seeing Vinicius there,
yeah.
Bellingham, going to completely blanked on their name. Not the Bernabeu. Yeah, Bernabeu.
Yeah, Bernabeu.
Just, I don't know, something about it just seems very Champions League to me that I want to see. And I missed seeing all that. And as it gets to the end of the year, because you're talking the second leg of this one is March. So the sun's going to start coming back out.
Far away.
I know, and that's before the quarters. And then the quarters are at the end of March in early May, April. Semis would be the end of April, early May, and then the final would be mid-May.
I can't even imagine doing this podcast at that time.
If we were going into
yeah.
Again, we first got to get through Porto.
Yeah.
And it's not an easy one, but it's not the hardest. It'll be completely on us if we do go out. But hey, we'll worry about that another day. We're going to move into Prediction League. And again, like I said at the start of the show, at the end of Prediction League, if you want to hang around, Simon's will be straight after Joe signs us out of this one. And he'll give his predictions. And I'm sure he'll be talking about how scared he is of the fact that we've got to go to Anfield this week. What else was I going to say? He might bring up, because I mentioned last week I was going to try and get a podcast with me, Joe, and Simon.
Yeah.
We worked all together on Saturday, but we were so busy. We never got time to actually sit down and talk any Arsenal, unfortunately. Simon even brought his kit to do it. But hey, we didn't get around to it. But this week we've got some weird timings on these fixtures. So we've got a game on Thursday, a game on Friday, and then Saturday there is a 12:30 normal Saturday and a 5:30 with 3 o'clockers. Then Sunday there's one game.
Okay.
And I think it's the first Christmas Eve game we've done in the Premier League for
10,
15
years.
Eve. So Wolves versus Chelsea is actually on Sunday at 1 o'clock on Christmas Eve.
That's a bit of fun.
It's different, isn't it? And then we're off, and then I think we're back for football on Boxing Day. Saying that, hey, let me just quickly look at this. Joe, first of all, Palace versus Brighton. What do you think?
Oh, Palace Brighton. Hard. Palace on a down. Palace. I like what Palace have, but they have been on a bit of a slump lately, even though they did do some things with City. Brighton coming off the back of the Arsenal game. I don't know where I stand with Brighton now. I don't know if that's just the Arsenal effect of that match. On paper, that should be quite a good game. I think it'd be quite even, but I'm going to have to side more with Palace as well. This is a big derby.
Yeah, and obviously Palace coming off that draw. This is a big derby.
That's it. That's an aggressive derby. I think Palace will be up for that. I think at Selhurst Park, I think Palace will be up for that. I'm going to go Palace 2-1.
Nice. I thought Brighton were really good against us. They obviously went through in Europa League, and I thought they looked really good in there. João Pedro, top goal scorer in Europa League.
Yeah.
It's tough. I do think Brighton struggle away from home a little bit. Against us, they again didn't create much. Against Palace, they will.
Yeah.
I don't know. This screams draw to me, so I'm going to go a draw.
That's fair.
I'm going to go 1-1. Not sure what's going to happen there. Palace kind of draw kings. Sorry, I was also looking up. Before we record next week on a Wednesday, there is Boxing Day games. So we might even do an extended prediction league game.
Okay.
Or I might jump in on Boxing Day morning and do a little quick one.
Ooh.
Maybe something like that.
Okay.
You're working Boxing Day, aren't you? And Christmas Day.
Yeah, Christmas Day and Boxing Day I'll be working, yeah. But I'll be here Boxing Day evening.
I don't know. Maybe I'll throw one up at the weekend with some extra prediction leagues. I might even ask Simon and Joe to do their own ones, and we'll throw all three of them up together in like a little batch.
Nice.
So we won't bother with the Boxing Day, but there is Boxing Day games next week. We've got Newcastle Forest, Sheffield United Luton, Bournemouth Fulham, Burnley Liverpool, Man United Aston Villa, and that is it for that day. So on Boxing Day, we are treated to a 12:30 game, couple 3 o'clockers aren't on television. Then we got a 5:30, and then we got an 8 o'clock Man United versus Villa would be an interesting one.
Kind of like a Saturday, isn't it?
And then we got 3 Wednesday games and 2 Thursdays, and we're playing on the Thursday against West Ham.
Ooh.
Spurs are away to Brighton. That'd be an interesting one.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, just to keep you in the loop there, we've got some games coming up, but we're just covering up until this Christmas Eve. And then hopefully we can try to put something together before the next show to predict the other ones and preview them. Because obviously, if you're off over Christmas, tell your friends about this podcast because a nice way of kind of getting you prepared for the festive fun. But we're moving to the next game. This is a Friday night game. So the Brighton Palace one was a Thursday night. This is Villa versus Sheffield United. We've spoken a lot about Villa. I think this is a 3-0 Villa.
Yeah, I think Villa are all over them.
Chris Wilder is back. They've lost one, they've won one. That's too much. I think Villa are probably the best home team in the league.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've won 15 in a row, no draws.
No, I think Villa are going to walk away with this one. Yeah. I'm going to go Villa. What did you say?
4.
Ooh, I'm going to go 3.
The next one is West Ham versus Man United. This is 12:30 on Saturday, which is the day before Christmas Eve.
That's a fun game.
That is we talk about Brighton being a bogey team, Palace being a bogey team for City. I don't know if I think of Nigel Reo-Coker, and I think of Carlton Cole, and Bobby Zamora.
Oh yeah,
and I think West Ham are horrible for Man United away from home 100%. At 12:30. This seems to me like the hammer in the coffin of Ten Hag.
Oh, pun intended.
I know this is a West Ham 2-1 win.
Yeah, that screams Christmas to me as well. West Ham, Man United.
I was going to say that is scale electrics are out.
I could see the snow falling past the West Ham badge.
Yeah. Steve Lomas sliding through.
Yeah, I think West Ham are going to win that one. I think I'm going to go 2-1 as well.
I think that'd be a good one.
Yeah, it's going to be.
Man United are so surprising. Like they'll go away to Anfield, draw 0-0. They'll go to Everton and smash them 3-0 when you think this is the exact same kind of bogey game.
Yeah.
But they won 3-0. But if you watch that match, Man I gave up a lot of chances that Everton should have scored.
Yeah.
West Ham, Jared Bowen's back. Kudus looks like he's firing. But again, West Ham lost 5-0 last week. It's a very weird year. It's very hard to predict.
It's the weirdest all-over season so far I think I've seen.
So Fulham next against Burnley. We'll have Jimenez will be out with his red card where he did a flying hip attack.
Yeah, he did.
In the game.
Much like Trinity from WWE fame.
WWE fame. Trinity used a TNA name and a WWE reference. I think Fulham will win this, actually. I think this will be 2-1 to Fulham.
Yeah, I think Fulham have got that. I don't think Burnley haven't shown me enough of anything.
No, and they're starting to pick up the odd point, but I mean, it's not enough, I don't think, in a minute.
I think Fulham have actually shown me some stuff.
Yeah,
I'm going to go for, what have you gone for?
2-1.
I'm going to go 1-0 Fulham.
Yeah, because Fulham an odd one, because they won back-to-back 5-0s, and then they went and got beaten 3-0, I think, at Newcastle after the red card. So, again, every team seems to be so bizarre. Luton at home to Newcastle. I actually have a strong opinion on this, Joe. Okay. What way do you think it's going to go?
So, Luton at home.
Yeah.
That's becoming a fortress. Mm-hmm. Newcastle have stumbled a lot lately. So, I think I'm going to side with Luton on this one.
Okay.
I think it'll be a really good game. I think Luton will put up a very similar fight to what they did with us.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think Newcastle will be able to combat it the way we did.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Luton 1-0. I think this will be a famous Luton victory.
So that was my strong opinion.
What that?
Yeah, I think it's 1-0 for Luton. I think with their captain going down last week, and obviously, hopefully everything is good with him.
Yeah.
And then Newcastle with all their injuries, plus they lost Joe Linton and Shah to an injury this past week. They've shown Newcastle when they go to like Brighton and West Ham and who was it last week? They went Bournemouth a couple of weeks ago. They do get beaten away from home. They do not like it away from home. They've got extra injuries, a lot of, I don't know, I would say dejection, but I mean, they just went out of Champions League and then instantly went and won 3-0 against Fulham. But again, they went down to 10 men. They weren't creating much until then. I think Luton win this 1-0.
Yeah, last thing Newcastle needs is to go to the mighty Luton.
The next one is a very out of form Forest versus a very informed Bournemouth.
Ooh.
Um,
What? So, okay. Quickly, though. Steve Cooper.
He's just been sacked.
Just been sacked today.
Yes.
How quickly are they going to arrange a manager?
It looks like by then their new manager will be in place, which will be Nuno, the ex-Wolves.
I saw that, yeah.
It looks likely he might be one of those situations where he's in the crowd, which I think if he's in charge, new manager bounce, they win that.
Yeah.
I think if he's in the crowd, he watches them get beaten 3-0 by one.
I think
and he has to try and figure out how to sort it. I don't know, but he might get on the training field, which means they might be resolute.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go for a 0-0 draw.
That's fair. Well, Forest are going to firstly struggle with the mighty Solanke.
Well, yeah. Recently rumoured to be joining Arsenal.
I like the fact every time a player does a little bit good, though, it starts to become a
You have a striker that's half tall.
Yeah.
And does all right.
Gets a couple goals.
Yeah.
I think Bournemouth will win this.
Okay.
I think Bournemouth are going to win. I'm going to go 2-0. I don't think Forest haven't got it all together yet.
Next one's an interesting one. Spurs, Everton. Spurs haven't been convincing at home.
No.
They beat Liverpool with 9 men, and it was a very odd one. They also lost, I think, 4-1 at home against Chelsea when they went down to 9 men.
Yeah.
They also were losing 1-0 up until 96 minutes against Sheffield United 1-2-1. They've shown a couple. I think they lost their last home game at home. I can't remember who it was to for the life of me. West Ham beating 2-1. They're very odd at home. They seem to be better away from home. Everton are in a massively good vein of form.
They're on a come up.
But I'm just going to go with my brain and say Spurs are just going to win it 2-0.
Okay.
But I mean, I've given you food for thought there.
I'm going to go draw.
Okay.
Because I can't decide either way.
What's the score, though?
I'm going to go 2-2.
I knew you would. The next game is Liverpool v Arsenal, the 5:30 on Saturday. This, I tried to always go for Arsenal just to manifest half-decent results.
Yeah.
I don't know. Last year, we flew away with the 2-0 in the first half.
Yeah.
Then I think there was a fight or something. Xhaka, I think.
Xhaka with a late challenge. It fired everyone up.
The crowd just went crazy, and then we went down to 2-2. They should have won it other than the Ramsdale save at the end. I don't know, because I think that was a blip. They're so good at home against us.
Yeah.
But Man United would have said the same this week, and they went and got a draw.
Well, I feel like this is a very different Liverpool even to last season, and it's a very different Arsenal last season.
It's so hard, isn't it? Because Man United went out to put men behind the ball and just accept that they're not going to attack.
Yeah.
We're not going to do that.
No.
We're going to attack, which means there's space for Liverpool to exploit. The probability of them missing that many chances last week and flubbing all their passes is probably unlikely this week. Yeah. And so is the crowd being bad. The chances of us playing as well as we did last week against Liverpool, I don't think. So it's all kind of meeting in a negative Arsenal and a positive Liverpool to me. Yeah. But that's all based on complete skepticism and doubt.
Yeah.
Like, none of that really makes sense. It just makes sense in my head. So I'm going to just be manifest a 2-2 draw.
Okay.
Because I don't think it can get better than that. Unless you think so.
I'm going to one-up you.
You're going to go Liverpool 4-0?
No. I'm going to go 3-2 Arsenal.
I would enjoy it. I don't think it'd be good for my heart.
Oh, it'd be terrible.
No,
I think we're in a different place to any other season we've ever faced them, and they're obviously doing well, like you said before, but they're not. They're not quite right.
Well, they're the team that they'll never just they're not gonna, even though we're in better form technically and better going forward than them, they're never gonna at Anfield go, do you know what? Come on to us then. We'll counter-attack you. They are gonna just play high possession, win the ball high up, that kind of transition football.
Yeah.
They did that against Fulham, who actively went, do you know what, we'll just play against you then?
Yeah.
And it was 4-3. It was a shootout. And it was only because of a couple of really late goals that they won that.
Yeah.
And we're better than Fulham, you'd like to think.
Yeah.
But so stylistically, they're not going to sit back. I think we will. I think we're going to draw them onto us and try and counterattack.
Yeah.
Which I don't necessarily like, but I just think that I don't think we're going to have much of the ball. And that does worry me, especially they spam crosses. Like, the reason they did so well for so long is they just spammed crosses. They were doing 50 plus crosses a game, and the ball was ricocheting to people, tap ins, back post, flick ons, headers, edge of the box flick outs, driving it in. Yeah. This is what their bread and butter was: high transitions, like turnovers in the final third. So in your third, then it would spam across, spam it. If it go right through, spam it back.
Yeah.
I've said spam a lot, but that's what they do. And I noticed against United, they've gone back to that formula.
Yeah.
And Man United were really good at just kind of headering away from goal and not just back into, the middle of the pitch. And they had Varane, who's maybe one of the best, front post defenders in the world football. And they had Johnny Evans, who, again, his bread and butter, as much as we say he's older and all these things, his bread and butter was just that. So I think they kind of fed into Man United's hands.
Basic defending.
And again, Gabriel and Saliba are good at that. But I don't know, is Zinchenko at left back trying to go, let's counter attack and just cheating every now and then.
Yeah.
The Salah's not going to just get in too close and cut something back to Szoboszlai or to Darwin or something. So
are we definitely going to have Zinchenko at left back then?
Yes, there's no one else. Unless Kiwior starts. But again, I think that might be just as dangerous.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. It's a real hard one to gauge. But the fact they're spamming crosses again worries me with Raya.
Yeah.
Because even though he's brought in, because apparently he was good at playing out from the back and catching crosses, even against Brighton, he dropped 2 corners into the danger area that caused mass chaos.
Yeah. He's not the tallest either.
He isn't. And the thought of them spamming 30 to 40 of them, that he has to collect at least half of them or try and punch them, I think there's mistakes to be had. So I just don't think it looks great for us. I don't know. My natural instinct says 3-1 Liverpool, but I'm going to go 2-2 and manifest that.
That's fair. But I'm going to stick with my 3-2.
Cool. The next one is Wolves versus Chelsea. This is on Christmas Eve. I love Wolves.
Yeah.
I enjoy Wolves. They lost this week. They weren't great against West Ham.
Yeah.
But at home, they're a different animal. They're a different wolf. I actually think Wolves will win this. I think 2-1 Wolves.
That's a good shout.
Chelsea are so unpredictable. So are Wolves. To be fair, there's like 18 teams that are pretty unpredictable. I don't know, because if you get the Wolves that played how they did against Spurs at home, or the way they played against Man United away, or even at Arsenal and Emirates, the way they played, they're so dangerous.
Yeah.
Chelsea won't be able to deal with that. But Chelsea seem to be finding some kind of footing for at least scoring.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's very interesting. I think it'd be a hell of a game.
That's going to be a very back and forth game. But I think, like we said before, Wolves have struggled hitting the target a lot.
If you were going to bet and bet responsibly, I'd say both teams to score that.
Yeah, but I'd go both teams to score and probably a draw.
Okay.
So I think I'm going to go draw.
Okay.
I think I'd go 2-2. I think to be back and forth. Wolves struggle to finish. Chelsea is starting to figure out how to finish.
Yeah.
But I think Wolves will be up for that one. That's a big game, especially on Christmas Eve. Is that an evening game? It is, isn't it? No, midday.
1 o'clock in the afternoon on Sunday. I don't know, but I don't know. It's going to be very interesting. We've got only two of us have gone for any away wins. You've gone for Bournemouth to beat Forest away.
Yeah.
You've gone for Arsenal to beat Liverpool away. Other than that, it's all draws or home wins.
Sounds fair.
Someone would say that probably will never happen like that. If you've ever bet in your life, very rarely will all the home teams win. So I don't know. But again, I think it's a nice little mix. It's very holiday. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's very Christmas. Some of these games, Wolves, Chelsea, even, and everyone's got their gloves on. Liverpool, Arsenal, even, but it's just such a big game. I think in our next 7 games, we play Liverpool 3 times.
Yeah.
Something like that. Because I think we've got this, then West Ham, someone, then Liverpool in the FA Cup.
Yeah.
Then as a game, then we've got them at home. So for whatever reason, by the end of January, we would have played them 3 times, twice at Anfield. So
I tell you what, one thing is guaranteed though, during these games, we're going to be wrist deep in some roses and quality streets. That's for sure.
Okay, I didn't know if that was your outro, and I was like,
no,
I'm not ready for the outro, but I thought you were going somewhere.
No,
we are. We're going to open up a tin, and guess what? When you open up a tin, it doesn't matter if your team wins or loses because we all win because we got nice chocolate biscuits. Isn't that right?
We're riding that sugar rush.
We are. So I'm hoping everyone obviously has a happy holiday. And you enjoy all the treats you get, all the presents, all those things, time with your family. Make sure you get the podcast on in your ear rolls because obviously this will accompany the amount of festive football we've got going. If you're a darts fan, we've got darts, we've got the NFL, we've got football over this whole, what are we talking? Thursday's the first game. So we've got Thursday football, Friday football, Saturday football, Sunday football, Christmas Day. Then we've got a load of football Boxing Day. And by the way, Christmas Eve is also NFL. Christmas Day is also NFL. Then you got next Tuesday, which is Boxing Day. You got football. You got football Wednesday. You got football Thursday. Then is, I think, the New Year games. So you might have a day off or 2 for New Year's to enjoy the brand new year. But
it is the best time of year for sport.
I love it. This is last year when there was the World Cup. I thought, I can't wait till next year when it's uninterrupted. In the end, we had about 9 international breaks, but so it's felt a bit more broken up. But yeah, we've got all that. Then on the Thursday when we play West Ham, then we got the Friday off.
Yep.
Then you're straight back to a Saturday fixtures.
Oh, back in.
Yeah, and then you've got Sunday fixtures on New Year's Eve, and then you got Monday fixtures on New Year's Day.
Woo.
Then you got the Tuesday, you got a football, and then you got 10 days off. Because
why?
Because that ends on the Tuesday. Then that following weekend is FA Cup, and then we're back the week after that with the Premier League.
Wow.
So I think it's the 6th and 7th of January is FA Cup fixtures, where we're, I think, away to Liverpool.
Yeah.
It was away or home. I can't remember. I think it's away, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it is.
Oh, I don't know, actually. I'll look that up before we finish. Weirdly, just looking at it, it's a very weird game. So I assume that's midweek. So we got the Tuesday, the 2nd is the end of the football.
Mm-hmm.
Then you've got the FA Cup, which will be the 6th, 7th. Mm-hmm. And then the following weekend, which would be the Friday, the Saturday, there's a game at 12:30 and a 5:30. Then the Sunday has a 4 and a 4:30, but no one else is playing. Then there's a Monday game. Then there's a 5-day gap until the following weekend. So not everyone's playing that week for some reason. I don't know what that means.
Maybe it's a carrot. Football out. Sort your fancy football out. Get ready for it.
Because in January, it's a bit bitty up until the 20th. And then once we hit the 20th, they're playing constantly. So
football is the gift that keeps on giving.
It is. And the prediction is going to get crazy by the time it gets to March and April, because I think that's where they've backlogged all the fixtures.
Yeah.
So it's going to just get hot and heavy.
So
look forward to that. Hopefully you have a great Christmas. I'll either see you just before Christmas or just after with a little preview, some of those Christmas games. Because if not, we'll obviously just write down what we predicted and we'll let you know the answers and all that. And by the way, I didn't let you know on the prediction league what happened last week.
Okay, let's do it.
So for the first time, all three of us got 5 out of 10. Well, technically 5 out of 9 because the Bournemouth game was ended.
We all got 5.
We all got 5. So that leaves Simon still in 3rd place with 59. You in 2nd place with 74. And me in top with 76.
Oh, who's going to be top at Christmas?
Who is going to be top at Christmas? You will find out next week. I'll let you know who finished top at Christmas. But until then, enjoy the pod. Make sure you have a great holiday. And we'll see you the other side. Joe, do you have a nice way of ending this? Because once Joe finishes this, hang on. Simon's going to have a chat. Then there'll be the outro.
You like to sing You'll Never Walk Alone, but when Odegaard spins you on a penny, you'll never walk again. You go Klopp, we go top. Come on, Arsenal.
That was very good because you said you didn't have anything. Enjoy, Simon.
Hello, Gunners R Us fans. It is I, Simon Miller. You have to excuse my voice and my overall cadence because somehow I just got sick from nowhere. But as always, I did just want to jump in and let you know my thoughts and feelings over the last week and how I'm feeling going into the crazy holiday season when football just decides we haven't had enough Premier League games, so let's have 79. Now, I actually think it was a tremendous few days for Arsenal because, of course, we're now in officially the Champions League. We've got Porto, which is definitely one of the better draws. Like, I don't think you can take anybody lightly in a competition like the Champions League, but you'd much rather get them than a PSG, or I don't think we could have gotten a Real Madrid. I am convinced that eventually we're going to run into Bayern Munich just because Kane is playing for them, but I don't really think there's anyone right now that Arsenal can't beat over 2 legs. I think it's going to be super duper tough, but I always do believe. And that 2-0 win over Brighton I thought was a very polished and a very professional performance. And as I did say to the brothers, I'm starting to think, and I hope that I am, completely wrong about Kai Havertz. I think he has put in a real shift these last few games. He's now popping up with some goals. And ultimately, if we are going to win the Premier League and we are going to win the FA Cup and we are going to win the Champions League, you need a squad full of players that can come in and do the job. And now it looks like that is what he's going to be a part of. I still think we need a striker. A lot of rumours going around at the moment that maybe Eddie Nketiah will go to Crystal Palace and the funds of that will be used to buy Ivan Toney. Now, I would miss Nketiah. I like the fact that he's come through the system, and anytime I see him in an interview, he comes across as a really good guy. But very, very sadly, given that he gets most of his goals against Sheffield United, or I think, was it Lens he got loads of goals against? You know, basically, I don't want to say lesser teams, but, you know, teams that aren't at the very typically top of the Premier League. It's probably something that we do need to do. I mean, we need a Haaland, essentially. That's what we need, because I know we've got Liverpool this weekend, and we'll talk about that in just one second. But you could argue, even though they do get goals across the pitch, when Salah isn't firing, all of a sudden you sort of miss that target man. And obviously that's why City will always be a massive worry. And it's one of the reasons United haven't done this as well this year as maybe some were expecting, because Højlund hasn't well, he doesn't get any service, but still, he's not getting any goals. And Arsenal are very good at sharing them around the team. But I think if you can get an Ivan Toney in, there's a rumour for 50 million, which seems way too cheap to me. But I would certainly go for that. And it's probably easier than getting an Ollie Watkins, or there was some links to Callum Wilson. I don't think either of those are going to happen, especially because when it comes to Aston Villa, they are totally flying. And look, absolutely, they could win the league. You know, somebody asked me that this week. You know, if Leicester could do it a few years ago, I don't see why Villa can't. I mean, the Leicester one to me would be a far bigger shock because look at the past that Aston Villa have had. You know, they're a European powerhouse. They have a huge fan base across the world. Like, they've had a few bad seasons, I suppose, given what some people may want. But they're still Aston Villa. And even though Emery came to us and we didn't really see the same impact, I would like him to do well because I do think he's a good manager. Not better than Arsenal, obviously, but I do think he's a good manager. And really, you don't take the job after Wenger. Just don't do it. Nobody could have replaced Wenger in the same way that, you know, no one has really ever replaced Ferguson. And it'll be the same when Klopp goes and the same when Guardiola goes. But still, yeah, I thought it was a really good week for Arsenal. I'm very, very excited. And if we can get something from the Liverpool game, and Aston Villa don't, but they probably will, we go into Christmas top of the Premier League, which is always a great position to be. But we shall start with Crystal Palace versus Brighton. It's a difficult match, that, because obviously Crystal Palace should be feeling pretty good right now after they were able to come back 2-2 against Man City, which was a proper coupon buster. And Brighton are away from home again. That's really where they struggled. And of course, they are suffering a little bit from European football. So I think Palace will win this 1-0, I'm going to go with. Based on nothing, really. And now that obviously Steve Cooper has left Nottingham Forest, there's rumours that maybe Hodgson will be replaced by him. That's going to be interesting too. I mean, Nuno's gone into Forest. I do think he's a decent manager. Didn't work out for him at Tottenham. But maybe he would work better, Steve Cooper that is, with a squad like Crystal Palace that you would argue is better than the squad that Forest have. When you go through the Nottingham Forest squad, it's still pretty good. Either way, to this match, I'm going to go 1-0 Crystal Palace, which moves on to Aston Villa versus Sheffield United. Now, Aston Villa at Villa Park are incredible. So I think I'm just going to have to go 3-0. Maybe not 3-0, maybe a 2-0, maybe even a 1-0, because Chris Wilder, now he's gone into Sheffield United, is very good at, well, not to say parking the bus, but he's very good at setting his teams up so they don't get absolutely walloped. But Villa are way too good at the moment. If they are going to hit any obstacles or a bit of a rut, it's not going to be to the new year. That seems to be what happens with a lot of teams in their position. I'm going to go 2-0, maybe even 3, but I'll stick a 2 on there. I don't think Man City versus Brentford is happening because, of course, Man City are in the World Club Cup. But, I mean, I would say that Man City would win that anyway, just in case I've got that wrong, but I'm pretty sure. And West Ham versus Manchester United is a fascinating game. I mean, West Ham did pretty well last week. Where are my scores? Yeah, they beat Wolves 3-0. I know they were at home, but they weren't scoring plenty of goals. And, of course, they have European football to try and deal with too. But, I mean, Manchester United against Liverpool, fair play to them, to be honest. I know a lot of people got mad at the way they approached the game, but they walked away with a point. And last year, obviously, they got spanked 7-0. But I think West Ham will win this. I think it's going to be a lot tighter than maybe some are expecting. United really need to win it, but I think it's going to be 2-1 West Ham. And I think James Ward-Prowse is just going to cause them a nightmare when it comes to set pieces, which is something that Man United have been struggling with. Tottenham versus Everton. Now, Everton were very unlucky in the Carabao Cup yesterday as I am recording this. It went to penalties and it sounded like they were controlling the game. But Tottenham have refound themselves. I'm not sure if a Maddison is coming back yet. Probably not. I know the Dutch defender is out for a while. But they did beat Nottingham Forest 2-0 last week. And I think before that, yes, right, they whooped Newcastle 4-1. Given that they're at home, the thing is, Everton they're looking really good. Don't forget they're wherever they are in the league. But if they had the extra 10 points that they got deducted, they'd be in close to European places. I think I'm exaggerating a bit that, but they'd be in the top half of the table. I think this is going to be a draw. I think it's going to be a high-scoring draw. I'm going to go for 2-2. A Desmond, as people call it. And I won't tell you how long it took for me to work out why people called it a Desmond. But I'm going to go 2-2. And this is mostly because I don't think Joey or Scott will have gone for a draw there. And I need to start climbing my way back up the predictions league. So we've got to make some crazy predictions. Nottingham Forest versus Bournemouth now becomes very interesting because Bournemouth are playing a good brand of football at the moment. I think whatever the new manager has been saying has finally clicked for the players. But Nottingham Forest have to have a bounce. I mean, Nuno should be in today. So that gives them a good few days to work with the squad. I think this is going to be a draw. I think that's a great result for Bournemouth, which I don't want, obviously, because I want Luton Town to do well. But I think there is going to be a new manager bounce, but I don't think it's going to be enough to all of a sudden reverse the fortunes of Nottingham Forest, who, of course, have only won 1 in 13. So I'm going to go for a draw. I'm going to go 1-1. I think it's going to be quite a cagey game. Fulham versus Burnley is absolutely massive because Fulham did well in the Carabao Cup. They have gone through to the semi-finals, but obviously they did not have a good time against Newcastle at all. They had that sending off, which I presume I can't remember who got sent off now. What's his name? Jimenez, right? He got sent off. So I assume he can't play this game. And that's going to be tough for Fulham. But they are at home and Burnley just don't score goals. So I'm going to go 2-1 Fulham. And that's good for Luton. And that's why I'm going for it. And given that I've mentioned them a few times now, Luton Town versus Newcastle, this is going to be so interesting because Newcastle are not in a good reign of form. They are struggling with injuries. Trippier is having a horrid time. And Luton, I should say, need a win. Now, obviously, there is a more pressing matters, I should say, over Luton Town at the moment because Lockyer last week went down with yet another cardiac issue. I don't want to talk about it too much because the family has asked for privacy, and what do I know? But there's nothing more important than that. Screw football, screw results, screw promotion, screw relegation. I mean, without Tom Lockyer, Luton wouldn't be in the position they were in. I'm doing exactly what I said I wouldn't do, so you have to forgive me. But you'd have to imagine that he may have to retire, and he's certainly not going to play this game. And the only reason I mention that is I think it could be a little bit like an Everton situation where all of a sudden it just boyos the players, boyos, whatever it is. And they come together here, which is bad news for Newcastle, who, again, aren't on the best run of form. So I'm going to go 1-0 Luton. I think they get an early goal, and they just defend for their lives. And that makes the sort of relegation race, if that's the correct word, far more interesting going into the new year. And I still believe that Luton Town can stay up. I'm always going to believe it too. Wolves versus Chelsea. Chelsea are an odd team. I know they scraped by on penalties against Newcastle, but they just not clicking, whereas I like Wolves, so I'm going to go 1-0 Wolves. And we'll end on Liverpool versus Arsenal. I mean, it's so hard. Ultimately, you're not going to get the same Liverpool as you did last week because you know you're not going to get the same team as United rocking up. I'm going to go 1-1, and I think that is a good score. If you want to win the league, winning a lot of your home games, which Arsenal have done, and drawing at the likes of, back in the past, Old Trafford, obviously, an Anfield or the City Ground, I think are huge results. I really do. And obviously Liverpool, I can't believe that this match has come now when these two are fighting over the top spot. But I'm going to go 1-1. And I think it's not going to be as dull as the Liverpool United game. But I do think there will be limited goals just because while both will attack the other, I think that the defense will kick in too. So yeah, I'm going to go for a draw, which pains me to say it. But again, the predictions league, I need to win. And also Arsenal drawing, even if Villa do go and get the 3 points, I still think is a great result. Liverpool away, getting the win is always a great result. And then we have to move on to the other games, I believe, from the following week too. I'll just zoom through these as much as possible. Newcastle, Nottingham Forest. I think Newcastle will win 2-1. Sheffield United versus Luton Town. I'm going to go Luton Town win 1-0. Bournemouth versus Fulham. I'm going to say Bournemouth also win 1-0. Burnley versus Liverpool. I think Liverpool win 2-0. Manchester United versus Aston Villa. So many crazy games. I'm going to go... Come on, Manchester United, 1-0, because I'm going to need them to win by that point. So 1-0 United. Chelsea versus Crystal Palace will be a draw, 1-1. Brentford versus Wolves will be Wolves victory, because I haven't done many away victories here. Everton versus Man City will be a Man City win. Actually, they'll win. I'm not going to go against them. It'll be ridiculous. Brighton versus Tottenham. I'm going to say Brighton are going to win 2-1. And Arsenal versus West Ham will also be a 2-1. Now, I do think we're back before the other games. If not, I will drop in another podcast. But there are some of my ideas. There are some of my predictions. And remember, don't listen to me because I'm not very good at this game.